It's pretending like it's starting. Okay. Allegedly we're on. Guess welcome to another number 4, I think, dropping in a pipeline audio. And I have had some news today. Wait, I'm getting an echo. I got to kill myself here. Hold on. So, what am I doing? Sorry. Okay. And today I got Jason Brian Merrill on, and he is a Reaper OG, and I think the first Reaper shirt we made was "Who Flamed JVM." That was pretty awesome, but I couldn't get them to keep making. Yeah, Jason, can you tell them what it is you do and why you're on the road right now?
I do just about everything. All my work is based around music. I teach guitar lessons. I teach recording. I gig every weekend. I record, obviously, and I actually help a dude with autism who's a musician. I help him out a couple times a week. So that's generally when I'm not commenting on political posts on Facebook. That's what I'm doing. A decent inner driving through.
Yeah, it's crazy because the video feed's coming through perfect the whole time, and like the audio skips. Like, if you're gonna skip something,
That's
okay, that's looking a little sketchmatic. So
at least we got the link to work.
Yeah. But so I'm gonna start talking about the news. Chip in if you can. So I think the first thing I had here was that there was hopefully you can see my screen. I'm not sure. There's an SWS extension update for Reaper. So if you're a Reaper user, you probably have SWS installed, and if not, go install it. It's a lot of things that maybe you wish where it had been added to Reaper from the beginning, but it's I use the live switch in the SWS live to turn Reaper into a giant MIDI guitar pedal board, which is awesome. And really the reason this is news is just I haven't seen actual Standing Water Studios who made this back in the day in a very long time. I think he's left the Reaper community or something, but it's just nice to see that it's still getting updated. And this used to say SWS Xenakios, and he's still around, but for some reason it doesn't say his name on here anymore either. And the screen that I'm sharing is the news came from the Reaper blog, which I don't know, John Tidy may look like an insufferable hipster that you just want to smack, but he has really, really good news on everything Reaper. Like half the time, if I can't figure out something to do in Reaper, just type it in and his blog comes up. He's got videos and he's always got something that you didn't know that you could do. And he's always got some super clever way of getting around things. And so if you haven't seen it, go to the just reaperblog.net. But chances are, if you type in a Reaper question, you're going to come up with this page. And really, this guy is a treasure. And let's see, what else do I have here? Okay, so this is some exciting news if it decides to pop up here. Positive Grid announced Bias Effects 2. If anybody was watching my bringing the studio to the stage last year, I think it was a year ago, I really, really got into using these computers and iPads and things to use modern stuff and bring your actual recording and mixing sounds to the stage and be able to switch them really easily. And I think I sent like a 4 or 5 page manifesto to Positive Grid about everything I was hoping could be fixed on Bias, especially for live use. And of course, the biggie is making sure that you have one output with a cabinet emulator on, speaker simulator, that goes to the PA system, and another output that could go to a standard 412 guitar amp where you wouldn't want a speaker simulator on it. And if anybody's really interested, I can probably put a link up to my actual list of stuff. But it looks like they ticked off a few of the boxes, and I don't know what exactly we're supposed to talk about right now, so that's probably it. But if you go to their page, there's an announcement for Bias FX 2, and looks pretty cool. So hopefully, this is a year of the amp simulator. Really, I think TH3 Overloud's one just got some updates.
Yeah, man, THU sounds freaking great.
Yeah, I think of all the years for Bias to put out another version of Bias FX 2, this is the year with some seriously steep competition. But I hope that just makes everything better. I mean, competition usually helps, right?
Yep.
Speaking of TH, let me see if I can pull that one up. Okay, so I had that. So I think the big deal about this THU thing that people are talking about is the I mean, we can say it, they can't, but I'm sure we can. There's some possibly Kemper profiling type of thing going on. That's the rig player. And Jason, you know anything about this? Because I really don't understand it completely.
Yeah, basically, this is the weird thing about it is I think you have to record your rig in some way. Like they have some way of doing it, and I don't know the process by which you would actually get the thing back, like the file back from them. That's voodoo to me as far as the process, but they do have a number of processes that to any given room, the settings of your amp, and all, they have all. But either amps, another feature about THU that could change out the tubes in the amps, kind of like Revolver was.
Yeah, their live setup was pretty cool too. Plus, they had auto engage for the wall, which was a big deal for me, and one of the things I was really begging by Positive Grid for that, and harmonizers, which they have. And this was a pretty complete setup. I tend to like the sounds of Bias better, but effects wise, I'll take the TH3 stuff, whatever. One of the things I'm not sure about, and I guess the early days, even before Repro, I was getting a lot of trouble over, was the dynamic convolution. And is that how Kemper works? Like, does Kemper actually get the dynamics of the distortion right? That's the hard thing, because anybody can match EQ tones at this point, but matching how the distortion works, like how much gain do you give it, non-linearity, that's what I should say. Does it really model non-linearities?
I mean, that's what they're claiming. I mean, as far as THU, I mean, people swear by Kemper.
Yeah.
They have great things to say about Kemper. So if THU is even approaching that, then it's only a matter of time before they've matched it or surpassed it. And there's a number of I'm driving right now, so I wouldn't be able to pull anything up. But there are all these interesting options on how to fudge with the convolution or whatever process they're using. Number of parameters on the front that looks super interesting. But just I got the demo because the Slate Everything bundle, of which I'm a subscriber, they're going to have that soon. So I got the demo up front.
Oh, wow.
And let me try this out. And it's cool. It's very interesting. The amps sound unique, and that's the big selling point I think is going to happen, is you're going to have variation, uniqueness. I don't think you can just have one amp simulator anymore. There's not one that does it all.
Yeah. But the man, I was in convolution so early. So one of the things I'm really confused about, even on the Kempers and stuff, is when even if they were doing it right, the nonlinearities, what happens when you turn the gain knob? How in the world would it know? Do you recorded at different gain levels too. Like I don't expect it to track a knob, like a threshold knob or a gain knob correctly, but I expect it to do different stuff at least. I mean, it's really confusing.
I mean, yeah, there would have to be some type of interpolation between certain knob positions, but like to be honest, I haven't looked into it that far because again, it's right now I just have the demo. I'm gonna have to wait for the everything bundle to come through, and then maybe I'll try and model my PV Classic 30 or my Fender Hot Rod or something.
Yeah. So Alex from I was doing like a live stream last night on Facebook where I was just trying different free and paid clean guitar sounds, really trying to get this really sparkly acoustic clean. And that Alex from Audio Assault, he has something similar. I'm not sure exactly what he's doing, but and I'm not sure if we're supposed to say it that it's like a Kemper thingy, but his dirt machine, I was using it for the acoustic simulator, which was awesome. But supposedly he has a way where he can model things, and I think it's the new grind machine stuff. I never know what that guy. He does some amazing stuff, and then he goes away for a while, and then he comes back and does something crazy, and then goes away for a while. But that might be something to watch this year. At least for sure, the Dirt Machine's acoustic simulator is awesome to me.
Is that the guy who also had the pickup simulator, or is that a different person? Because I remember there was like years ago there was a dude who made like almost like a pickup simulator or whatever.
That's
yeah.
That's Ken McLaren. That was Acme Bar Gig.
Okay.
And then they did it in Revolver. Alex does. I think he made plugins for other people. He has the Exciter plugin, which is my favorite Mutt Lang plugin out there. A bunch of clippers and stuff. I think he might have made some of the Joey Sturgis stuff. Not sure. He might have made some of the early Slate stuff, but I'm not sure what people really know him for. He had a multi-band transient plugin that a lot of people were using.
Yeah, the emulator in Revolver is interesting, but it's not that usable, honestly. Like it's kind of whatever for guitars anyway.
Yeah, I used that to do the acoustic simulator too, or did I? Maybe I just used their convolution modeler module to do it. There's some for the bringing the studio to the stage stuff. There's some really awesome stuff that they did with Revolver, and I didn't find out about it until like 10 years later on. I was asking, hey, could you do this, this, and this? And he goes, oh, we already do that. I'm like, wait, why weren't people screaming about this, years ago? But I remember,
right.
Remember that PV was like kind of the first big company that really took a notice of Reaper. So we were always friends and stuff. I wish they would have said more. Maybe people would have been using it more. Maybe we would have seen more development over the last 10 years. Cause man, that Revolver was way ahead of time.
Yeah, Revolver had the only usable like rectifier tone for a while, for me anyway.
Yeah, just the way it responds and stuff was pretty incredible, and they really Hartley Peavy himself really let them get away with spending a lot of time and effort on this thing, and it was really awesome. And it just seemed to, I mean, it's not dead, but it seemed to kind of wither on the vine, which is a bummer.
Yeah, I'm actually I'm about to hit my my student's house in a few seconds, so
okay.
I'm gonna. And thanks for having me. And anytime, man. Happy to chat.
All right, awesome. Yeah, I'll try and have you on some more later. It's much better with two people talking about this stuff than one, but I'll try and finish
it up. Yeah. Cool. Have a good one.
All right, you too. See ya.
All right, bye-bye.
Okay, so the next thing I want to show here is hey, me 1 second here. Sorry. Okay, so the next thing here is IK Multimedia. You guys should know, like they were real early on in being able to stick your guitar amps and stuff in phones and computers and things. They make the iRigs and piles of products at this point. But there's this Axe.io, which is somehow specifically a guitar recording interface. I don't know. They came out with some really good stuff last year, so I wouldn't be surprised if this is awesome. Seems like so it says 2 in, 5 out interface and controller. Not exactly sure what the controller part is doing, but looks like it's got the DIs you'd expect and audio interface. I'm hoping, like I always say, this all comes down to the drivers. It always comes down to the drivers. And as far as I know, they didn't really have ASIO drivers on their other stuff. I remember using ASIO for all for the iRig HD2, and it works, but I think it was like 20 milliseconds round trip latency. This all comes down to the drivers. I don't know whether or not this will come with an ASIO driver, but it looks like it's got a it's got some pedal inputs. And what was that thing they made last year? They had, it was a pedal board. It's kind of the pedal board we were asking for. It had 4 switches and a audio interface built in and a continuous controller. So who knows? Is this going to be good or not? So we have you can either choose or not to add subtle harmonic enhancement, and a slight mid-range focus adds warmth. These little kind of things, they're so subtle. I know, yes, they make a big, huge difference, and they spell the difference between hits and duds and stuff, but not really. I mean, give me something pretty flat and I'm pretty happy. It looks cool. Comes with some, you can use it as a mic preamp too. It's got MIDI input. Yeah, this actually looks pretty good. I wonder how much it's going to cost. $350, maybe. Some other choices in here for you around that range. I think Behringer and Focusrite that actually have ASIO drivers for sure, but I don't know if they're going to have as much control for the expression pedals and things. I'm not sure that the Focusrite does. I think some of them have MIDI though, so who knows. But that's cool. I'm glad to see IK Multimedia doing more stuff. Okay, and then we had, let me type this back in. So, yeah, somebody spelled this out. This is Audient, who gets a lot of hype from different places. On the Gear Sluts thing, it said it introduces the world's first guitar recording interface, which is, I didn't see that claim on these guys on their own site or anything. That was kind of a silly claim. I mean, we've been recording guitars for forever, and it just showed a different product that claims to be a guitar recording interface, but there's piles of them. But this thing, Audient's been hit or miss with their drivers, but they're really good about communicating even to non-customers over email. I mean, they email me back right away when I have a question about their products, or if I see somebody having a problem. This thing looks like another guitar interface. I'm not sure what's so different with this thing. Looks like it lets you use 2-note stuff, which is, they had like a cab simulator, which possibly lets you, I'm not sure. Let's see, why is this thing special? 10 in, 4 out. That's kind of a lot. Okay. 2 mic preamps. Stores 3 presets on board of probably, I guess, cabinet models or something. It's got a 8-at port, and it's $450. I was looking at this thing thinking, does this come with a it's just like the 2-notes torpedo whatever box. I thought that there was an amplifier input, so it had like a power soak or something, so you could plug a speaker level in, but maybe not. I don't know. $450? I don't know. Maybe. Who knows? Okay, and so MIC DSP. For you guys that like this 500 series stuff, you old people out there. This looks pretty good, and it wasn't expensive. I think it was like about $200. I don't know. I like the modern graphics where you can actually see what frequencies you're messing with and stuff. But this looks really cool. Like if you really want that 500 thing, I mean, it's got the. I know it's just pictures, but man, they look pretty. So if you're really into that old stuff, at least it'll look the way you expect. I mean, I can't imagine why you would use a noise gate like this when we have modern gates that do things we could only dream about back in the day. Like, what is this thing? I don't know, but it really looks cool. And the McDSP stuff, it's been around for a long time. These guys have a pretty good reputation, and their prices are not what you would think. So pretty good. Okay. So here's after 30 years, maybe MIDI 2.0 is finally coming. I don't know. We'll see. Supposedly backwards compatible somewhat. And I think bidirectional. Yep. The biggest change is a bidirectional connection. So thank you. We don't have these gigantic two ancient cords running around. We have one cord running around, and hopefully we'll have a lot more wireless options than we used to have back in the day. 32-bit precision. Yay. It's only 30. What is that? A half a bit per year, I think. So yeah, we got another 16 bits and it's been 30 years. So yay, that's pretty good progress. Going tracking right along that Moore's Law line right there. Okay. Oh boy. So of course, whoa. So Glenn's got another video up, how to get a huge drum sound. And like love him or hate him, this is a channel you just got to watch. He's always got something, and he's always got something funny. The viewers' comments ones are the stupid musicians text to engineers. That's worth its weight in gold. And this particular one, he did another shout out to old Reaper friend Scott Stillwell with the verbiage plugin. And so that was pretty awesome. So have a look at this video. And, this is one of those videos where I think it really shows you what can you do with stuff you already have. Everybody thinks you got to spend all this money, you got to buy all this new junk. But how about using the stuff you have to its best ability? And this particular one really shows that. So check it out. Okay. Okay, so I don't know if you saw my very first episode where we talk about Dante. Prism is possibly adding Dante to some of its stuff. I know there's people who swear by this Prism sound stuff, and these really weren't as expensive as you would think for such pretty things. Who knows how much the Dante interface is going to cost, but I think these are 8-channel units. One of them has 8 mic preamps on, and one of them has 2 expandable someplace. But adding Dante, I really think, are we still going to be in the age of USB devices for the most part? Or, computers all have network audio or network ports on them. So we should be using network, or it should be an option. So it's nice to see a Dante. But in other Dante news, if anybody was following all the crashing I was having between the Focusrite Dante PCI card and Positive Grid's stuff to bias things, as soon as the bias products call home, it would completely lock up the computer. It had to do a hard reset. And Focusrite has been able to repro the problem, so hopefully that's coming back. Who knows if it's a Focusrite problem? It might be a Dante problem itself. But phoning home shouldn't crash your computer either way. And the funny thing is if you use the virtual Dante virtual sound card, it would not crash. It would only crash when I had this PCI card in. And as far as the Dante stuff goes, I'm still of the opinion I would rather not have an extra card inside my computer just to take out that 8 milliseconds of latency. How about just give us a driver, let us pay whatever for it, big money, whatever, but let us choose how much risk we want to take on that network. So anyway, that's that. And so this year, Slate introduced a new kind of drum gate, and this kind of thing kills me because this looks like a multi-channel, multi-band noise gate, and I know a lot of for the last 5, maybe 10 years, I've been trying to get a coder to help me build a multi-band noise gate, and so every year I watch NAM, and I am in horror at seeing how many things I wanted to work on get scooped. This isn't exactly what I was thinking of, and I could be completely wrong, but I think it looks like Alex Wilkinson of Wilkinson Audio might have had a hand in this. Looks kind of like his work, and if so, I hope so, because that guy is a pioneer and a revolutionary, and it's nice to see if somebody is promoting him. This looks awesome. It's not exactly what I wanted to build, but I bet it works, and it's about time. It's time. Modern era. Let's get some real noise gates going. And yeah, I should probably shut up because I have some other ideas, and hopefully I can still get them built before next year's NAMM. But go check this out. Go check it out, Stephen Slate. Okay, and now PreSonus. Here's some USB-C stuff. Kind of have this love-hate relationship with PreSonus. I really like what they build. Sometimes their stuff hates me, but I'm looking at a central station right now on my desk, and I've got one in the other room. Yeah, and I think I have a PreSonus sub here. So these are a bunch of different USB-C interfaces, and as typical for PreSonus, they built it kind of exactly what the market's asking for. Their drivers are, I guess people could say, hit or miss. There's a lot of people who hate their drivers, but had some pretty good luck with them. I'd like to have Jim Roseberry on really badly to talk about this stuff. So is USB-C a connector protocol, or is it actually like the bus speed and everything else? I'm not sure. And is it really fast enough for 24 channels? I know with the with my Midas M32, if I use the USB thing, it's got 32 channels in and out over USB 2, I think. And it seems to work. It seems like if a company like Army were to have built the drivers, it would really work, no problem. So hopefully this is enough, but this one it looks like a bunch of different choices here. And when I look at this thing, is that that USB-C? It looks like a lightning port. Maybe that's what it is. Showing my ignorance here. Hopefully I can have Jim Roseberry on to talk about this stuff. Okay, and just in case you really needed to go broke, it looks like you can buy Neumann headphones now. Who knows how much they're going to cost, but I guess if you, yeah, that's your funeral. Okay, but really interesting, and this is kind of more my history. This company is making these audio fuse interfaces. Looks like some pretty sensible, USB interfaces, I think. But the interesting thing to me, and hopefully I'm getting this right, is it says Arturia, and I was looking at guitar stuff. I kept seeing all this Arturia stuff on iOS, and if I got this right, Arturia is Wave Machine Labs, who more than anybody else is responsible for getting me onto a computer in the first place. They had a product called Drumagog. I think I made the first third-party library for Drumagog. I'm not sure. But it was an early drum replacement. It was way easier than using our Alesis DM5s or our 4-at machines or our AMSs. It was unreal having the Demagogue was a big part of my early DAW life for sure, and it really did move me off of the mixing console into the computer in the late 90s. And so if this is them, I'm really happy that they're still going, because they were so groundbreaking as pioneers. But an awesome team. They would always email you back, and they're just great all around. Early in the Reaper days, they were very supportive, and I hope that's you. And if so, awesome. Okay, and so here's this Gigatone thing. It's another one of these USB to guitar cable plugs. And today on the Positive Grid forum, I was just reading about a guy having trouble with a Rocksmith or something guitar plug to USB, and the same thing. The drivers were goofy. I think it made you use ASIO for all. I need to look into that more. But like I said, this always comes down to the drivers. Like if the drivers are no good, you're just asking for trouble. And so if the drivers are good, this looks pretty handy. So you got a little headphone jack you plug your guitar into your, looks like you can plug it into an iPad or something. Hopefully it's got Windows drivers as well. This could be a cool device. I had the old Behringer one, worked okay. Lots of latency and dropouts, but it's cool. Okay. And so for those of you who know me, I was just going to include one of these things. I think I spend more time talking about marketing myths than anything else. And if you watch the old Don't Get Jack blog I made about marketing myths for our audio engineers, I think the first thing I had on here was one of these dangerous analog summing boxes. I mean, I'm sure it works, but it's a really important. It looks like this one's an update of it. Looks like it does the same stuff. It also looks like this might be a source controller, maybe a speaker controller or something. But for $2,000, I will buy a PreSonus Essential Station and some new mics or something. And I don't need the magical summing, whatever. I think if you really want to look at this stuff, go to Don't Get Jacked and see my takedown of this kind of thing. I mean, I'm sure it works. If this is how you want to work, go for it. But whatever. Okay. And finally, here's C Entrance. This is a company, I think really more than anybody else, they really introduced us to what the actual performance of drivers were on the computer. Like what really was the round trip latency? Why did it matter? And they I think they came out with the latency test utility is one of the things. I think I used my round trip latency roundup early on anyway. And they were always publishing technical papers and always answering really deep technical questions. And I think they offered to build drivers for other companies. I'm not sure if that whatever came of that, but they always made their own little devices. And so this one looks cool. It's hopefully, given their all their speak about latency, it's going to be the lowest latency iOS device you can get. $250. We'll see how this goes. Hopefully it's got some ASIO for the computer as well. And so go check them out at C Entrance's website. And so that's all my news for today. Hopefully I'm going to have somebody on to talk about DistroKid. Hopefully I'm going to have Jim Roseberry on. And hopefully I will have you on. So this is dropping in at Pipeline Audio, and I'm signing out. See you guys later.